If you're trying to become the best field sport athlete you can, powerlifting is not the right option for you, and here's why. Now that we got that stupid hook out of the way, I'm actually going to give you the positives and the drawbacks of why powerlifting does or doesn't set you up to be the best athlete, not powerlifter, you can be. First off, let's start off with the positives. One, overall strength and an increase in strength is a great thing to have as an athlete. It's just not the end all be all. Number two, it gets you comfortable under load. It allows spinal loading and allows you to move heavy weight, which is a good and positive thing. Number three, it gives you tangible goals that you can improve upon and work towards. Outside of those, this is where we get specific. The first thing I want to introduce to you is what's called the force velocity curve. This curve allows you to see the relationship between force and velocity and where we should be in a 1 rep max or an RPE setting. Powerlifting has a very specific focus on max strength, looking at getting the highest number possible. That doesn't mean powerlifters don't train on these other landmarks, but their main focus is here. Almost never in every single sport do we have a maximally loaded, slow, grindy bout of movement. It's high velocity work, getting ourselves to project our body weight as fast as we can. So optimally, we want to hit all these landmarks and not have a sole focus on one because the sport demands us along this whole entire curve. Number two, bilaterally hip hinging, deadlifting, and squatting is a great way to get stronger, but that does not directly translate to the sport. Instead, we need to use those as tools so we can get the strength, power, and hypertrophy. And then we need to move in multiple planes. We need to be able to move fast with plyometrics. We need to be able to sprint fast. And then we also need to be able to throw fast and produce high velocity med ball work. Those are all left out in powerlifting because they're not required by the sport. It would be stupid for a powerlifter to do those things if they're just trying to get their highest total. And number three is almost just a preference thing, and it comes back to our toes forward discussion. I had a conversation on the most optimal and effective way to change directions as an athlete is toes forward. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. Toes forward allows us for the optimal and correct firing pattern of the lower body muscles, glute, hamstring, opposite QL. If we're not in that toes forward model, it throws off the firing sequence, not allowing natural human movement. And lastly, and I want you to think about this statement, we need to train movement, not movements with an S. We need to use movements or exercises as tools in our tool bag to get better at what the sport demands, not just getting better at the movements or exercises to get the highest total. So as a strength coach looking at developing athletes, we need to look at human movement, not movements. Don't get married to movements, bench, squat, and deadlift. Get married to human movement on the athletic realm.